On this week's show, why now is the time to invest in HMOs?
And in the news, we're going to be discussing why property prices are, for the first time in history, their highest price.
And we're going to be answering all your property-related questions. Hi, I'm Russell Leeds.
I'm Alistair Cunningham.
And welcome to the Property Investors Podcast. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. Good, how are you?
I'm very well.
So we're here in the new studio. So
we said that last week.
I know, but I still like coming to the studio because I like the. It feels like a bit of a boudoir, doesn't it? Do you not think?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's a little bit of a boudoir,
I know what you mean.
or a crazy person's room because there's padding all around the walls. So it's like.
Although they won't be able to see that.
I know they won't, but they're going to see some scenic, lovely background. Of whatever it may be. So anyway, what have you been up to? Since yesterday when we filmed last.
Is that what we filmed yesterday?
It was Friday.
Friday? What day was today? I'm losing track.
It was just a joke because normally we have a big. Normally, this is what happens, guys. Right? Normally, we film one, and then we have like we'll be like, dude, it's Friday, 4:00. Should we film something? So we film.
That's been the case for the last. Well, normally what happens is you take no responsibility whatsoever. So I'm like phoning you. I'm going, Al, podcast, and you're like, oh man, this is normally on like the Wednesday or so. I'm in Bedford. I'm like, Bedford? Why are you in Bedford? I'm buying a property in Bedford. I'm like, really? You haven't told me about that. And then like, we'll juggle it around. I can come to you Friday at 3, and I'm like, sorry.
But do you know what? Pre-COVID, we were so
we were on the ball. We even missed some over COVID.
I know, but
and we had to do it over Zoom. We had no excuse.
But like pre-COVID, we were really on the ball with it. We used to meet up every Monday and film 2 episodes. Every other Monday, film 2 episodes. Enough for 2 weeks. It gave our wonderful videographers and editors plenty of time to get it uploaded and get it edited. Now we give them like an hour, and they still do it. So.
But since I last saw you, what have I done? I've just worked.
Yeah.
Just been. I haven't really done anything of any interest. Nothing to talk about on here, so I apologise for the boringness. I went out for lunch with you.
We did actually. We had Nando's.
Went for Nando's.
Yeah. What did you have?
I had half a chicken, hot.
I'm just making a point.
With rice and corn.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right. Yeah. Not rice. I had peas, macho peas.
Macho peas.
Macho peas, good.
So anyway. Cool. What are we talking about this week?
So this week we were talking about HMOs. It's something we've touched on before.
Yeah.
But we've just featured on Samuel's channel. I don't know whether that's been out yet or coming out very soon. But he was asking us about HMOs, and we're like, hey, why don't we talk about it in a bit more depth and a bit more nitty gritty detail?
Yeah.
On the podcast. So. HMOs, are they good? Are they for now?
Yeah.
I'll ask you, are HMOs for now?
I think HMOs are booming at the minute. I really do. I think they're booming. From an investor point of view, why not? Because the cash flow is great.
So why aren't you buying one right now?
Well, I am.
What? What? You are? Where's this?
It's in Bedford.
In Bedford? Has he mentioned it in Bedford? I don't think he's mentioned a Bedford property.
May have mentioned it just once or twice.
Okay.
But look, as somebody who's managed hundreds of HMO rooms, granted that was a couple of years ago, you've not done that for the last year or two, but
I've not personally done it, but
no.
I'm still but yeah.
But, okay, so tell me a little bit, like, why were HMOs popular back? Because HMOs went through a bit of a... They boomed, massive boom, like 3-4 years ago. Around the sort of time Samuel started his YouTube channel. Do you not think? Like, Samuel started banging on about HMOs being great.
I think Samuel had a big influence
Suddenly,
on
all the
market.
HMOs, all the properties that were HMO
especially in Wolverhampton,
compatible, were suddenly converted into HMOs.
Because Samuel sourced and sold about 100 HMOs in Wolverhampton.
Yeah.
And then suddenly Article 4 came in. And it's like, well, you really, I'm not that surprised.
Yeah, okay. And that's what happened. So, like, HMOs boomed. And then I think they did sort of plateau out a little bit. Because I think people started to then take over with, like, buy refurb into single let. And service accommodation sort of was the in thing. But I do think HMOs are coming back. And I think at the minute... I think HMOs are really, really strong.
Well, I know we mentioned this briefly before. I think one of the reasons HMOs are coming back is that obviously we've entered into a recession.
Yes. Yeah.
And there's been, I don't even know the numbers now, how many people have been made redundant, but I believe it's going to be over 1 million.
Yeah.
So it's about 750,000 when we looked at this weeks ago, so I don't know the latest stats.
Not just been made redundant, but I was also read an article this morning that said 9 out of 10 people are going to have to either reskill, i.e. retrain, get a new skill to their bow to keep employment, or they're going to have to re-employ somewhere else. So 9 out of 10, and
Well,
I don't
I
know
know
how
people-
that seems very, very high.
That does seem very high. I don't
But
believe that, but I know
I read
people
it in an article. So
in the entertainment industry, for
Yeah.
example. And a lot of Craig, who I don't know if you know,
Yeah.
if you know Craig, obviously he runs an entertainment agency. Like, there's no work. So he's got 30, 40, maybe even more now, entertainers
that are now out of work.
well, they've got no work. So a lot of them are like getting jobs in the post office or.
I was also reading an article, interesting. It was when I was at one of our training programs last week in Heathrow, and there was a flyer in the hotel, and it's like a local flyer. I don't know where it come from, but it was on the table and I read it, and it was all about local news. It was like a little pamphlet thing, local news, and they were talking about round Heathrow. A lot of the former captains and pilots are now retraining and doing delivery driving, like driving for Uber, driving for like all the fast food chains, driving for like Waitrose and Ocado and people like that. So these were people that are pilots flying planes that have now reskilled or downskilled or whatever you want to call it, and they're now driving vans. So they were flying planes, they're now driving vans.
That's crazy.
But it's what you have to do to keep the money coming in and to keep your income stable. And I think in these times,
the other thing
you can't have an ego. You've got to be humble about what you do if you want
I've got to be humble about what you do. But the other thing is, how many people have taken a pay cut?
Yeah.
So it's all well and good looking at the million people or whatever. Interesting, I mean, obviously we're talking later on the show about house prices are the highest they've ever been,
I know.
which is interesting. But so people are taking pay cuts, people are being made redundant. There might be a couple where one of them's been made redundant.
Yeah.
There's a lot of households that are going to be affected by this. As a result, the other thing is, because of the COVID lockdown, obviously, it was an interesting conversation with someone who was in favour of the lockdowns and stuff.
Okay.
And he was saying, well, scientists have proved that to stop the spread of the virus, this is the best way to do it. And it's like, okay, well, that might well be the case. But look at all the negative consequences. I could stop myself by getting run over by staying in this room forever.
Yeah.
But then I might die of starvation. Or, do you know what I mean? So,
well, it's interesting you say that because obviously the news came out yesterday that Wales are now back in full lockdown for 14 days. Essential shops only are now to stay open as of Friday 6 p.m. And that's just, again, it's just crazy. We need to get over this and just deal with it because like the cure is going to be far more severe. The consequences of all these lockdowns is going to be far worse than the actual cause.
Anyway, it's happened. So divorce rates have gone up. Domestic abuse has gone up. Lots of problems. Which, if divorce rates have gone up, that means that there's more households.
Yep.
So let's say you're a husband who's been not on a great salary because you've had a pay cut because of all this, and you've just split up with your wife and you've got to find somewhere to live. Where are you going to go? HMOs. So I think with the way the economy's going, with people having less money, etc., I think HMOs are definitely going to become a big.
We one of our investors bought a property that we converted for them into a HMO in Burnley. And it went to market, i.e. it was finished, ready to go, went to market on the Monday. It was tenanted fully by the Friday, i.e. tenants moving in by Friday. Like the demand is huge at the minute. It's huge. And you get a good HMO manager and you know the area, you find the right property, you do the good quality, high-end conversion, en suites, really good decor, things like that. I think you'll never struggle.
En suite's a really interesting one. I think if you have an en suite, you're safe.
Yeah.
If you've got fully en suite, you know it's going to rent at a good price.
Yeah, of course.
Without ensuite, you still can rent them out, but it's a little bit more risky. It depends a bit on the competition. So the good thing about ensuite, because a lot of the other people don't have ensuites, you're just putting your product. When I first got into the HMO game, ensuites were a massive luxury.
Of course they were.
It was like, it wasn't a thing. You didn't really have ensuites. It was 4 people, 4 or 5. 5, we tried to get 2 bathrooms in. 4, we had 1. Yeah, that was kind of what we.
I've got 4-bed HMOs that have got 1 bathroom.
Yeah, and they still rent out, don't they?
They still rent out very well, yeah.
But if you put an because if you've got an ensuite, right? If you've got your own room, see, I wouldn't live in a HMO without an ensuite.
No, never. I would never share facilities.
No,
I just wouldn't.
What would you do? Would you just get cooking wise? What would you do? If you were living in a HMO?
Again, I can't. I just wouldn't do it. I don't know. It depends. I'm really fussy about cleanliness. I'm really, really fussy about cleanliness. So everything I do is really clean, and I can't prepare that. I couldn't prepare food knowing that it's just not clean. And I went to a couple of my HMOs recently, and the rooms are all nice, the rooms are all tidy, but I went into the kitchen and it was like, oh my goodness me, this is just grim.
So what would you do if you were living there? How
Eat out.
Would you just eat out?
I'd probably just eat out. But then obviously
Would you get like a microwave and all of those little mini ovens in your room?
No, because I think that brings that also brings problems to your
smelly
room.
room and stuff.
Smelly room. I don't believe in cooking where you eat and all. Cooking where you eat. I don't believe in cooking where you sleep. Because then it makes the smell of cooking. Like I'm really particular and funny about this sort of stuff. Like I don't like the smell.
So would you not live in a studio apartment?
No, not if it has got an open access to the kitchen. No. I can't. That travel, that smell of food. It means it gets in all your clothes, and it's just. You can always tell people that live in small houses with like open kitchen areas, because like the house always smells of food.
I wonder if you could like do the kitchen out. So a lot of them have got quite big kitchens.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could do the kitchens out where they each had their own bit.
Yeah.
Because you don't need much space, do you?
Well, look, in this property I'm doing in Bedford, I don't know, I might have told you I've done a property in Bedford.
I don't think you've mentioned
the
it.
kitchen, so it's going to be 5 tenants, okay? But the kitchen's going to have 2 cooking areas. So it's the kitchen's the size of this room we're in, okay?
Yeah.
I know you guys can't see that, but it's massive, right? It's going to have two cooking stations with 6 rings. So it's going to have 12 rings in total, 2 ovens, 2 big American fridge freezers. It is going to have plenty of cooking space and plenty of washing facilities. And all my HMOs, I provide a cleaner.
Still shared,
to go
though,
in.
isn't it?
It's still shared.
You've got 2 for 5.
It's still shared, but we provide a cleaner that goes in there every 2 weeks and cleans top to bottom. So it's part of the agreement we have with them.
Every 2 weeks isn't that regular though.
No, but they still do a very good job. But all my houses are clean, apart from these ones that are up north. They're struggling because they don't have cleaners. So all my houses that have got cleaners, really good. Now, the thing is, we're sort of drifting off topic
Well, I'm
here,
just
okay?
but it's interesting though. Like I'm wondering whether you could have like a little workstation
for every
room.
The problem with that is in
need
some of these smaller 4-bed HMOs, it means you've got to have a much bigger kitchen.
But your kitchen sounds pretty big.
The one in Bedford, yeah, it's huge.
But I'm thinking, if you're going to go to town with en suites, then, I mean, how big a cooking area would you need?
It's a good idea to have. It is a good idea, actually, when you start thinking about it. Like room 1 has their little cooker and their little area and then their sink. But think about it logistically from a building point of view. That's fine.
You'd only need like 2 hobs. It wouldn't have to be like a full-on thing, would it? You'd only need.
What do you mean? Do you mean like they all have their own separate
imagine
workspace, or
if
like
I
a separate like
everything? Imagine like,
everything.
Do you know like a caravan kitchen?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
they fit it all in really small.
Yeah.
Imagine you could have that in this space on this table, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So imagine if you just had 4 or 5.
It's a good idea. It's a good idea. I mean, I might consider that in one of mine to see what happens.
It'd be interesting. I'd prefer that.
I would prefer that.
My own little storage, my own little fridge.
Well, look, in all HMOs, so like in mine, all my like room 1 has their own cupboard space for food and for storage, and it's labelled and they can put a lock on there if they want. That's for room 1.
Less arguments, isn't it?
Yeah, it does. Same with the fridges.
We used to do that. We used to put the numbers on the cupboards.
Yeah, and then same with the fridges. Like we have enough fridge space in there so that they all have a couple of shelves, and it's up to them to sort of, they're adults at the end of the day. It's up to them to make sure. The biggest argument is people stealing my food, people stealing my milk, people stealing this. It's like, come on, you're freaking adults here. You're not kids.
Yeah, but you say that. But when we worked in communal offices, if you look and you've got no milk, and you see their milk right there,
do you remember?
You're gonna take it.
Do you remember at Hilton Hall? That company that had that microwave and it had a big sign on it saying, "This is our microwave. Do not use it." And things like it's just.
Well, we used to use it because there's a microwave for like for everyone on that little, not everyone, each about 3 offices used to have. Do you remember this, Pav?
He wasn't.
Yeah, he was. Each sort of 3 offices have got their own kitchen, right? So there's one microwave for sort of 3 offices, but this one company of the 3 used.
They bought their own.
They bought their own and said, "Do not use our microwave." But what we used to do is like we would. So me and Alistair, we both wanted to eat our food at the same time.
Keep a lookout.
One of us would be on lookout, the other one would watch it. And he'd be like, we had a signal. I can't remember what the signal was. It was like some sort of cough, and I'd be like, taking mine out. Just like, wait for them to come over.
It's just petty, innit? But at the end of the day, look, it is what it is. But HMOs are great to invest in at the minute. There's a lot of demand for HMOs, but you got to do them high end. Like you got to do them high end. Like there's no 2 ways about it. I think what we'll do when I've finished my property in Bedford. For those that don't know, I've done a property in Bedford. When I finish that, that one. We'll film a podcast there so you can see how high end it is. You got to do it high end. I think you got to. Ensuite,
Well, I don't think
high
you've got
end.
to. I don't think you've got to.
I think if you want to get maximum income, get it rented out as quick as
Yeah, if you
possible,
want to
and
get
have good
maximum,
tenants,
if
then
you want to
yeah.
get maximum income, yeah. The thing is, though, is what you've done. See, it depends on the property that you bought and how much money you have. What you've done is you've done a BRR basically.
Yeah, yeah.
So therefore, you're redoing it complete. To tell you the problem with doing the kitchen the way I've just described it. Freaking weird, isn't it? For when if you try and turn it back to a single there and you've got 4 mini ovens and
Yeah, it is a bit weird. You'd have to convert it back. Obviously, you've got costs involved. Like at the end of the day, you want to do it as high end as possible, but for as little money as possible, but without scrimping corners. I know that sounds daft.
I wonder if you could have like So, for example, if you gave everyone, I used to use as a spare oven when in my apartment. We had like it was the same size as a microwave, but it was actually an oven.
Yeah.
So it had 2 trays. Bear in mind, these are people on their own. They're not hosting dinner parties.
I know what you're going to say, but then you've got all sorts of issues with the licensing and all that sort of stuff.
Licensing?
Yeah.
Got to plug it in.
Yeah, no, HMO licensing because you're not allowed cooking stations in anywhere that...
In the kitchen.
Yeah, but even then, there'll be issues.
Would there?
Yeah, probably.
What issues?
I don't know, I'd have to look into it.
You can't plug in a microwave in your kitchen?
Not a microwave, yeah, but not these...
It's just like a microwave. It's actually an oven as well.
Oh, okay, fine. Ignore me, I don't know what
I'll ignore him. I don't know what he's on about licensing.
Yeah, okay.
But what I'm saying, if you had like 4 of those on your side, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
If you that way, you could very easily take it out, and you can say to everyone, "There's your oven, there's your microwave, there's your fridge space."
To me, it takes it away from being a home, doesn't it?
But you just said that you wouldn't share it. I'm trying to solve
I
your
wouldn't
problem.
share. I wouldn't.
Would you do this?
No, I wouldn't do that because it's like camping. It's just,
How is it like
It's like
camping?
in a caravan.
You're in a
back
kitchen.
in Butlins.
No, it's not. You're in a kitchen. You've got your own little oven rather than using the main oven. What's the difference?
No, I just don't feel it. I don't feel it.
So what would you live in then?
I'd buy a house like normal people.
So let's say.
No, you can't. You got to take that out. Mark
you
that.
haven't.
Mark that. You got to mark it.
No,
mark
you don't.
it.
You
mark
don't.
it.
It's fine. Right. So if you, let's say, for whatever reason, you got made redundant from property investing, can't see how it possibly happened, but a disaster struck you, don't know how, and suddenly you've now only got £1,000 a month to live on. You've got to pay for your rent, your bills, everything out of that £1,000 a month. What would you do?
Well, I'm not giving up my Porsche, so I'd sleep in my Porsche.
You sleep in a Porsche with no shower.
I'd come here.
I'd
be Russell, Russell, can I stay in your garage, please? Like, I don't know. Dude, I'm not going to. It's not going to happen to me because I've got the education.
If it did happen to you,
but it's not going to happen.
Listen,
if it did,
if it did,
I'd live in a canal boat.
Well, that's going to be expensive.
Oh, I don't know.
You've got £500 a month to live. What are you going to do?
HMO.
HMO.
I would, in fairness, in absolute fairness, I actually would. If I was in that situation where I had £500 a month and that's all I had to live, the option is HMO. But I would go as best as I possibly could with the money I had.
So with the best, because you got to remember they're in this situation where they haven't got much money. That's why they're living in it. So
no. You're assuming that people that live in HMOs are there because they've got no money. That's not necessarily true. I've got people. Actually, most of my tenants are there for work reasons because they don't want to buy in the area and they've relocated because of work. Like, don't discount that.
You do have great flexibility with HMOs.
Yeah.
Do you sign people into a 6-month agreement?
6-month ASTs, yeah.
Well, it's no different from just renting normally then.
No, you're right, it's not. But at the end of the day, they don't have to pay massive deposits. They don't have to pay bills. They pay a one payment every single month. That's it.
It is about money though, because if you were on a good salary and you were moving to an area, would you rather tie yourself into a 6-month AST with you or just rent somewhere?
Yeah, but look, I see where we're going here.
It is about money, isn't it?
Of course it is. No, not necessarily.
It is.
No, not necessarily.
Of course it's about money.
Like, okay, so let me take you the next thing then.
Go on.
So let's say, like, okay, so I've got...
Show me a millionaire living in a HMO then.
Well, that's different.
No, it's not. Because you said it wasn't about money.
No, you're saying it's about money, and I'm saying it's not about money.
Well, okay, show me a millionaire in a HMO.
Well, I can't.
Why not?
Because they've got the money.
Because they've got the what? Because I couldn't hear what you said. Because they've got the...
Cut. They've got the money.
Exactly.
Right. No, but look.
So it is about money.
No, it's not. Not always. I've got people that are living in my... For instance, all right? I met up with one of our academy members last week. She's got a HMO in Northampton. She's got a doctor from Ipswich that is moving to Northampton for 6 months, just 6 months. So he doesn't want to go and rent an unfurnished flat for the sake of he can just get a HMO that's fully furnished. He doesn't have to worry about furniture, doesn't have to worry about bills. All he has to do is bring himself a duffel bag and whatever he brings
It's
with
still about
him.
money though, isn't it?
No, because he doesn't want to go out and... no matter what I say, he doesn't want to go out and buy loads of furniture.
Yeah, 'cause it's a waste of money.
So it's a waste of money. So, but he's only going to be in the area for 6 months. Whatever. Like, no matter what happens, I'm going to be wrong. So, my point being is it's about easiness. It's about the easiness of moving somewhere that's got fully furniture. I know
You're making up words again.
I'm making up words again. It's the ease of not having to buy furniture.
What was the word you made up earlier?
Appealable.
Appealable. It's more appealable. What?
It's more appealable. Yeah.
Maybe it's a word. Maybe
You know,
it's a
I
word.
just created it, so you heard it here first, didn't you?
Appealable.
So, appealable.
Are you
And
appealable?
easiness. I'm very appealable.
Are you easy and appealing?
Very easy. So, on that note.
So, well, I don't think we've kind of got to the bottom
I don't
of this.
think we've got to the
I don't
bottom of
think
this
we've got to the
either.
bottom of this at all.
This needs a second edition.
This is episode 2.
HMOs are great. They're a great product, no matter how we differ on opinions on them.
No, we agree on opinions. What, for some reason, you're not willing to accept that people live in HMOs to save money.
But it's not just that reason.
It is just that reason.
No, it's not.
Do you think they live in there
It's
because
primarily, maybe that's like 95%, that's the reason.
they've got a
But
budget. They've got a budget, right?
But maybe because they just don't want to go to the hassle of furnishing an apartment for 6 months. That's hassle. That's not about money.
Of course, it's about money.
No.
Because if you had, I would just pay someone to sort it. If you wanted to, wouldn't you? Would you live in a HMO for 6 months over hassle? You'd pay. You know you would. You would.
So in this week's news,
So you would. So it is about money. So the thing is, there's
maybe to a degree.
So what you're saying is that there's more people now that say, like, because when we used to rent rooms a lot, I mean, I still do it now, and you still do now with the lower end.
Yeah.
You're looking at $350 a month, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
I don't have any rooms that rent out for less than that.
So what you're saying is there's a big market at the $550 a month, maybe.
Yeah.
As long as it's high end.
Yeah.
What are you planning on renting out your Bedford rooms at?
Minimum 650.
$650.
Oh, I hope. But we'll get there. I don't know yet. I've done lots of research in the area. I know what the rooms will be getting for. I've got a company that have already told me as soon as it's done, they'll take it off my hands and give me £500 per month per room, but on a guaranteed rent basis for a 12-month contract at a time. And they're just going to rent it to their staff. So they have an agreement with their staff.
That sounds like a pretty good deal.
It is a pretty good deal. £2,500 a month.
I think I'd take that.
Yeah, but I'm going to manage it for myself for 3 months and just see.
But then you've got their staff and you ain't got to worry about it.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about it because I've got people who can help me do it. So although when I say I'm going to manage it, I'm not personally going to manage it. I've got people in the company that can do it for me. So I might go and show them around the first time, but then I'm going to get.
So when I
bored
say I
of
want to
that.
manage it, what I mean is I'm going to outsource it.
Yeah, but oh my goodness me! Have you been having a can of Red Bull or something? 'Cause you're on it today.
I thought we're going for a coffee after this, aren't we?
We are, yeah. Well,
Starbucks
we
after
were.
this?
I'm not now. I might take you and leave you somewhere.
So someone getting into HMOs across the levels, whether it be the $350 a month level or the $550 a month level, there's going to be lots of demand, especially over the coming months. People need somewhere to stay.
Yeah.
You know, there's companies, entertainment we were talking about, entertainment companies are shutting down. People always need somewhere to live.
Yeah, of course.
If money is going down, because a lot of people are saying to me, it just doesn't make any sense, they're saying like, when it hits the economy, it's going to hit HMOs. I'm thinking, no, it's not. It's going to hit houses like my house.
Yeah, of course it is,
And hit
yeah.
houses like, I don't know where you live now. I haven't been to your new
yeah,
house, but your old house.
Yeah.
So that's
It's the same. Look, I think HMOs are a great time. Okay, but it has to be in the right area, has to be the right type of property that's able to be converted properly and be good enough to be a HMO.
So would you go 350 or 550?
I would always go.
You've got both.
I've got both, but I would always go for the higher end now. My first HMOs are at the 350 mark because they're lease options and because they're in areas that are maybe there's a few more
But are
properties
you
there.
saying you'd go higher because you've got more money now?
Yeah.
So if you were starting, might you go 350?
350, there's nothing wrong with that. At the end of the day, listen,
You're going high because you want to tighten with BRR, really.
Yeah, my strategy is buy, refurbish, refinance into HMO. But when I started, I didn't have the money. Like most of you guys, people watching, you might not have the money. So I started with lease options and I started doing as cheap a deal as I could possibly do. So one of my HMOs is on a lease option where I can buy it for £83,000.
that's gonna
Like,
be.
it's crazy. I've just had it valued, so I've only had it for 8 months, or no, about a year.
8 months?
Actually.
I was
For
gonna
about a
say.
year.
Is this the one in Wolverhampton?
No, it's one in Hull.
That's
It's
long.
one in one. It probably is.
You've had that a long time.
2000, actually mid 2018. So yeah, not months. Anyway, I've just had it valued, and the value's come back at 88, but it's actually quite low in comparison to where I was
shocked.
expecting it to be. But it's been down valued because of COVID. In big black lettering at the bottom of the valuation, it says this property has been down valued by a minimum of 10% due to the current economical climate and the COVID-19 restrictions.
How can they say
It's
that
like,
when house prices are as high as they've ever been
So
during COVID?
But my point being is that HMO, my total investment into it was like £1,000 legals. I think I spent £3,500–4,000 on it to get it up and running, converted. So you're talking £4,000–5,000, and it's been renting out pretty much ever since, getting between £350 and £380 per room. So where else can you get a property for 80 grand, right? That rents out for £1,200–1,300 a month. It's just not, is it? So like, from a cash flow point of view, they're great. From a return on investment point of view, they're great. And if you're educated like I am and like yourself are, you get these on lease options, the cash flow's even higher, the return's even higher, the capital appreciation's even better.
Yeah.
It's all about education. It's finding the right deals in the right area for the right price and securing it with the right method. You do that, you're quids in.
And it's all about money. Right, it's our time for this. In the news this week, Alistair touched on it earlier, but basically house prices are the highest they've ever been in the history of...
The average house price.
well,
Across the UK.
yeah.
So it was for many, many years around £280,000. But read the article.
So the price... Oh, I've just gone off it. So the price now is... Average price...
Interesting browsing history there you've got, Russell.
Is it? The Mirror? The price here is £323,530.
That is actually for the average. That's like.
See, if someone told me they lived in a £350,000 house, I'd think that was quite a nice house, not an average house.
But it's crazy, isn't it? Because that's high.
It is high.
It was always around the 280 mark. Certainly for the last 2 or 3 years, it seemed to have that seemed to have jumped up quite a lot recently.
It has. Well, obviously you've got COVID. You've got the which should put it down if anything. But you've got the stamp duty break, which has bumped up house prices. You've got the Help to Buy scheme. Talk of another 5%, which we talked about before.
Just in the last session, I was talking to you about how one of my houses has just been downvalued because of COVID-19 by a minimum 10%.
Yeah.
And now, obviously,
Well, that's what I was saying. It doesn't make sense, does it?
doesn't make
How can they
sense.
downvalue, but then the selling value? It's a time to sell, not refurb.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, sorry, not refinance.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that is.
Certainly, I'm always very open to options when it comes to refinance or sell. There's nothing wrong with buying a house, refurbing it, and then selling it, because then you're just a trader. You're just trading property.
Well, if you're doing
Nothing
new
wrong with
build, I would typically sell.
Yeah.
Because you lose.
You went
value.
to your new build site at the weekend,
I
didn't
did.
you?
I forgot to mention that in what I've been doing earlier. Yeah. I went down to see it. Oh, it's all done now. So,
All done.
all done.
Houses
all
sold, or are they?
Houses are in the process. I mean, the first one has completed today.
Oh, okay,
which
good.
is obviously a few days ago for you guys watching this. So,
Right.
I think a bunch of them were sold, got the money back, made hundreds of thousands of pounds profit.
Wow.
So it's been a good
Good.
It's been a good deal.
Good
Been a
deal.
Good
Good.
so yes, there's nothing really to report on that, other than we're obviously still in this bubble. The government are doing everything they can to keep the house prices up.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think they're going to drop massively.
No, I don't. I can't see it. But what do we know? We're just mere mortals. We're not the one pulling the strings. We're just Russell and Alistair. So we can only give you our best prediction. And I think the house prices are going to go up. I don't think they're
Keep going up.
I think they're going to keep going up. They
They're
might
not.
stabilise.
They're not going to keep going up.
Who knows? Let's wait and see. But I think they might stabilise. They might plateau. But I don't foresee them going. I don't see them going down anytime soon.
Samuel predicted at the start, when everyone was set before they started going up, that he thought they'd go up and then go down a bit about January time, but still be within 1% or 2 either side of what they were when everyone started talking about it. I don't think it'll change massively.
I don't think so. I don't think so. But anyway, watch this space. Let's see what happens.
Right, it's now time for your questions and our answers.
I do a Facebook Live every single week and stick it on Property Investors with Simon Leeds, and we take your questions from there. You can also send your questions into our Instagram accounts, and that's Russell.Leeds.
Just Russell Leeds.
Just Russell Leeds and Alistair_Cunningham.
You couldn't get Alistair Cunningham. We got beaten to it by another Alistair Cunningham.
I did actually get beaten to it by another Alistair Cunningham. But
We
anyway,
talked about it last week. Loser guy.
we did.
Nothing going for him. And he beat you, didn't he?
He did. He got there first. Right, okay. On the Facebook, this is from Gromoslav Sersky. When viewing properties, do you think that your personal visual appearance is important, i.e. being clean-shaven, wearing professional clothing? I've seen some investors go out in £1,000 suits and others go out in hoodies and jeans. Do you think it would have an effect on the type of deals you can get? Listen, I think if you're out doing business, you should at all times be your appearance should be as a business person. Rocking up to a property viewing in hoodies and slacks is, to me, it's a little bit unprofessional. Does that mean you're going to get you're not going to get the deal? I doubt it. But you never know who you're going to meet. So I have this conversation with several people actually. Whenever I do anything, whether it be go to the gym, whether it be go to a restaurant, everything, I'm always dressed how I want people to perceive me and how they want people to see me. So
how do you want to be perceived?
Well, I'm always smart. I'm always dressed smart because you don't know who you're going to meet.
Yeah.
Like I've met so many people, for instance, going at the gym, for instance, that are in property.
I think for a man of your age, you dress quite well.
Yeah, man of my age. Thank you, my friend.
For a man I hope you guys agree with that. Do you think for a man who's pushing 40,
you dickhead.
Don't you think that he just scrubs
I scrub up well.
If you look at what he used to look like, I would say, you know, when I first met you,
yeah,
you're like a different person.
Yeah, it's because I am a different person. But when I first met you, you were wearing like oversized dad suits. That's what you were wearing. Not now, because you've changed as well. So anyway,
I wasn't wearing oversized dad suits. You was. I wasn't. I couldn't have been oversized. I was filling them.
We went out last week, right? And he put, it was just casual, right? And he had a pair of jeans on and a pair of sandals. And
sandals?
Not sandals, but slip-ons.
Right.
Different coloured socks. It's like, really?
They were different colours.
They were. Orange and blue.
On the toes?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a
whatever.
It was some sort of charity thing where you had to wear different coloured.
That just made me look even worse. Right. Anyway, my point being, does your appearance matter? I think it does.
It definitely does.
I think it 100% does, because people will form an opinion of you in 3 seconds. Okay, and that opinion will either be he's a scruffy git or he's somebody I want to do business with. So you don't have to go like in £1,000 suits with bow ties and little glass eyes and all that sort of crap. But just go in a presentable manner, okay?
The glass eye?
You know, like a little...
Do the monocle?
Yeah, the monocle, yeah. You don't have to go like that. Just go in a presentable manner as how you want to be perceived by people. And you know what? You never know who you're going to meet when you're out on these viewings.
I agree with it. Well, did I tell you about the experiment they did? And I make up the... I'm going to make up the stats because I can't remember the exact stats, but something along the lines of. So they got people, do you know the people that stop you in the street with a clipboard? So they got people to do that in a plain white polo shirt.
Okay.
And their rejection rate, their acceptance rate was something along the lines of 7%, or something really low in terms of people that would stop and fill out the form for them. But then, same person, exactly the same outfit, but the polo shirt, exactly the same shirt, apart from it had a premium brand logo, Ralph Lauren, for example. I can't remember what it was here. And it went up to like 36% or something. Massively. But you get more respect, more...
it's sad, but it's true.
It is true.
It's true. It's very true.
It is sad.
I also watched, that was on YouTube as well, and I remember watching that, but I also watched another thing on YouTube where there was a guy with tattoos. He's got tattoos on his face and things like that. And what he done was he was asking if anyone's got any change for £10. He's got £2, £5 notes. Yeah. And he was just going about, he had a t-shirt on, he's quite bulky, quite muscly, and he's got these tattoos on his face. And like people were like, whoa, are you going to mug me? Somebody actually said to him, no, don't mug me. Right? And they were like, they wouldn't deal with him. So then what they done was they put him in a jacket and they done some makeup on him and got rid of all the tattoos. And people were talking to him, people had the money for him, people wanted to swap numbers, all sorts. His interaction with people completely changed. So to say people don't judge is bullshit. People judge.
Of course they do. And this is why things like racism and sex, you're never going to completely
No,
eradicate it because it's subconscious.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's we make a big thing of those, but it's everything. People judge if you're fat, if you're slim, if you're good looking.
Yeah.
Another one that was with premium cars.
Okay.
Where if you were a premium car and you were that was it, stuck at traffic lights, lights go on green, you just don't drive. Crap car, people were beeping their horns.
Really?
Premium car, they'd still beep their horns, but they gave them extra grace. They gave
Would it be like a polite beep, like a beep?
Yeah,
Like, do you know?
yeah, it was,
Yeah.
and it was after a longer period of time.
Yeah.
People judge all the time, and it is sad, but at the same time, it's kind of necessary. It's our human instinct.
Yeah.
Of otherwise, every person, it's like don't judge a book by its cover. But we all do. We all look at the front of a movie and like, does it look good or not? We judge it by the cover, or the image on Netflix now.
Yeah.
But it is sad, but it's true. So yeah, you definitely want to dress appropriately.
I think so.
I wouldn't probably go in a suit though.
No, I wouldn't necessarily go in a suit because you are.
I'd probably go like what we're wearing
Yeah, exactly.
now.
There's nothing wrong with what we're wearing now for what we're doing. I think just dress appropriate for the given situation. But at the events that we run, one of the things I talk about is appearance. Is how you conduct yourself in public and how you conduct yourself amongst other people in networking events, things like that.
We could have done a whole. I could have gone in and dug away and got those actual stats, and we could have done a whole show on this.
But we've spent way too long on this question as it is. So hope that's answered your question, my friend.
Yeah.
You got any questions on your phone?
You know what? I haven't actually looked because
Okay,
I thought.
let's have a look.
Here you go.
So I had two.
Here you go. So. About to finish the deal selling course, which is brilliant, by the way. Thanks, Grizel. I think I found some real gems. Is it true? Sam says just to tell everyone you're a property investor and change your social media title job. I've had some serious investors contact me already, but basically, is it true that you should go around telling everyone you're an investor before you actually become an investor when you're getting started?
Well, look, Samuel refers to this as like just because you get trained. He talks about the doctor analogy where you spend years and years and years training to be a doctor, but until you actually do your first operation doesn't mean you're not a doctor. You're still a doctor. Just because you've not done your first operation or your first deal doesn't mean you're not a doctor. So you've done training. You're in training. You're a property investor in training. So don't lie about what you've done. Don't say, hey, I'm a property investor and I've got lots of houses, because you've not, okay? But you can absolutely say that you're finding great deals and you're offering these deals out to people. You can absolutely say that. There's nothing wrong with that because that's exactly what you're doing. So just be congruent and be completely honest.
But I think you want to speak it out, don't you?
Yeah.
You want to speak it out and say, this is what I'm doing. I'm now a property investor.
Yeah, and I think one thing that speaking out does is it sort of holds yourself. It makes yourself accountable as well to actually doing it. It's like
putting it out there in the public. If you care what people think, you are holding yourself accountable.
Yeah.
I mean, like when I remember when Samuel wanted to lose weight, and he'd been saying it for ages, and then when he actually posted it on Facebook, I was like, oh, okay, now you've got to.
You've got to do it,
yeah. If you don't, now everyone's going to say, hey.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a good thing, for sure. Definitely
I think it's a great thing. So.
Brilliant. Well, guys, thanks ever so much for tuning in. We really do appreciate your support. Please do hit the like button, subscribe, follow us, spam us on Instagram, harass him if possible. If you see him in the street, go to his house in Bedford and smash it up and whatever you want.
Don't do that because it's taken me ages to fix it.
Wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be funny?
Would it?
It'd be great. Can I go and see it?
You can come and see it. Bring a hammer, yeah.
Bring a hammer.
Well, I went into it this morning. There's a great big hole in the floor, like a big trench has been dug.
I don't know how that happened. Anyway, see you next week, guys.
See you guys.